Well, I'm here with Kerry Murphy, the Executive Director of Artisphere. 3 questions with them. Kerry, thanks for coming, and tell me, what brought you to Greenville?
I ended up in Greenville. I graduated from Clemson and was not real interested in going back home. I originally grew up in Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C., and I had a number of friends that lived in Greenville, and so when I was in Clemson, I would visit here frequently and just really fell in love with it. It's, and actually back then it wasn't nearly, the thriving, fun little downtown area that it is, but I've lived and worked in downtown Greenville for 15 years now, and now my family's wanting to move down this way, so I found it lovely.
Tell me about Artisphere that's coming up in May.
Well, it's the 7th annual Artisphere Festival. It's May 13th through 15th, and it's a 3-day celebration of visual, performing, and culinary arts. We've got 120 artists coming from all over the country in exhibiting their work in 17 different mediums, from sculpture to woodworking and painting, photography, jewelry. We've also got 3 performing arts stages, one in Falls Park, one right here on the Peace Center campus, and one at the intersection of Camperdown and Maine. We're looking forward to those stages really bringing in some folks perhaps from outside of the area to come see performers that they're fond of. We've got some folks obviously that are from Greenville, some musicians from Greenville, but then we like to always give Greenville a little something else that they don't always get to see.
Well, that's cool. Now, with all your time you've spent in downtown, is there a story or something that kind of sticks out in your head about downtown Greenville?
I can't come up with just one. Like I said, I've lived in downtown Greenville for 15 years, and so it's just been amazing to see the growth and development of the area. I guess the one thing that I can remember that's particularly funny, many years ago, I used to work for Greenville Events, which then became Main Street Events, which is now under the city special events department. So it's interesting how I've come full circle that I work so closely with them yet again. But it had to have been mid to late 90s. And the city was looking to do an event in the West End. The north end of Main Street had some restaurants, had the Hyatt, and then, right here in the middle, you had the Peace Center. But down at the intersection of Main and Augusta, the West End was maybe a little bit before its time, and so we were trying to create an event, as, the city is so great at doing, creating events and creating reasons for people to visit certain areas. It was called West End Thursday. It was obviously the same day of the week as Downtown Alive, which was on Thursday, so it was in direct competition with that as far as event time, but it had a little more of an international flair. We were looking every week to maybe do different food from a different country, different music from a different country. I remember one weekend was German, or one Thursday was German night, and being on the staff, I was doing everything from setting up the stage to pouring beer, and so I'd gotten costumes. The guys were in lederhosen, and I was in whatever you call those German, smock-looking, those German. So I was in one of those, and the guys were so annoyed with me that I had them in these costumes, and then the chicken dance comes on. And I don't know if that's a German thing or not, but here we were, staff had to get everybody going. And, it lasted one season, West End Thursdays. It was a little bit before its time, but now, people probably forget when there was a gap in between, the Peace Center and the West End. I mean, it's become just such a great arts district in particular. And so it's just been great to see Greenville grow. And I've really enjoyed being a part of that. Special events are really kind of my passion and my love, and being able to put together an event like Artisphere that we get so many wonderful compliments, and it brings a lot of people downtown, not just residents, but visitors, and it's starting to get so much recognition and acclaim in the city, in the region, and in the country. So it's just very rewarding. I love Greenville. So that might be my one funny story, but there's so many fond memories about Greenville.
Well, thanks so much for doing the interview.
Sure.